Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel at VAG Technic. So as you can see behind me is an empty run, but not for long, because unfortunately we did stock up and we do have two Audis here. So one of them is a sort of like a health check and really quick have a look around. It was a car which was standing for a while, so the owner of the Audi A8 want to make sure the car's properly roadworthy and everything is sorted out from the service point of view and there's no issues with the vehicle. And on my left we do have an Audi A6 which is here like a under warranty job. So the gentleman of the Audi A6 just recently bought the vehicle and there is some ticking noise coming from the engine. He was here on the first session, like really quick diagnostic, just listen to the engine actually, and he wants to hear sort of our opinion. And we did told them that it might be the camshafts on the way out. So the Audi A6 done 84,000 miles and the Audi A8 done around 50,000 miles. Both of these cars have the same engine, so it's the same code and it's the 210 kilowatt engine, which is 90 bhp I believe. It's the silly engine with the electric generator, which I don't really like. Let's start with the Audi A6 because that is the more problematic vehicle what we've got here. And unfortunately, like I said, there is a mechanical sound coming from the engine. I will start the engine in a second to actually listen to it again. I'm not sure how much you will hear the sound on the mobile phone because there's loads of ticking noise coming from the injectors and so on and so on. But definitely in the real life, you can hear something which is spinning, is making a noise every single turn. So I did check the engine generally from the top and around. There's no oil leaks, coolant leaks or anything like that. The owner was driving the car till today actually, and there's no engine light or no fault codes in the ECU. So for today or for tomorrow we will have to inspect basically the top of the cylinder heads. So we have to remove the rocker covers, injectors, the fuel ramps and everything what's in the way, and we will do a visual inspection of the camshaft. If they will need requiring, of course the engine gotta come out, there's more components what needs to be replaced, and obviously if that's the case and it have to be done, we have to work out a quotation because the car is still under warranty with the garage or the dealer who sold the vehicle to the gentleman. And we'll have to go through a bit of a longer process of repairing again. I'm really hoping it will be a straightforward job that unfortunately I think the camshafts are gone, but we will see. We just don't want to be giving a blind quotation to anyone and after we remove the engine we will say like, oh sorry, maybe we're wrong, your bill is not 5,000, your bill is million, and it's just not the way we want to work. So before we carry out the job like engine removal, we want to be at least 99% sure what we're actually doing and the quotation is accurate, because every component on top what needs replacing is extra money, and if you send a quotation to a company, they agree with it, they might not pay the extra material after you find out. So we try to be super careful before we do anything. Enough talking. Let's start the engine. We will listen to it one more time. The engine is actually warm because the guy drove the car down to us still, and see for yourself. So Audi A6. Okay, Audi. $84,000 miles and no fault codes, no engine lights, no nothing. So this ticking noise we hear now are the injectors. So this is sort of a normal sound coming from the injector solenoids. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, but do you hear the spinning noise, like a grinding noise or something? I'm not sure how well you can hear it from the phone, but I can definitely hear something. So yeah, it was in a different garage. They carried out an inspection. They didn't do anything, unfortunately. They were quite busy or whatever. And they told it might be the dual mass flywheel. which I don't think it is. But the only way how to find out, unfortunately in this case, without the engine removal, we have to strip it down from the top of the cylinder head and we will inspect the camshaft. So unfortunately, again, there's no way to put an endoscope camera or whatever inside there. There's not enough space, and this is probably the easiest and quickest way to find out if the camshafts are actually worn out and they will require replacing. And if they will, after the job we will have to raise the oil pressure as well, which is the same plan on the Audi A8. So basically we will run the diagnostic on this one to show you before the remap what's the oil pressure on the different temperatures and different RPM. Miroslav will take the ECU out, we will put it for a remap, so we will adjust the oil map in the ECU and I'll show you the result, the reading from the diagnostic afterwards. Let's do the AA first. I'll show you around what I'm suspecting is wrong with it. We'll shut this lovely engine down and we'll jump on the A8. Okay, so the Audi A8. When the car was delivered to us, I went for a quick drive because obviously one thing is what we will see on the ramp and the other thing is how we feel behind the steering wheel. What's the output of the vehicle, how the engine sounds like, how it's pulling, how it's braking, how it's steering. And I must say that the brakes feel a bit weird. It might be because the car was standing for a long time and there might be a bit of a rust on one spot from the brake pads, and obviously they just need a bit of a longer run to sit again properly. So I'm really hoping we don't have to be replacing the disc pads. We will check in once the car on the ramp. But for now my output is there is noise coming from the engine when we will start it up. Listen to it. Which I think might be an easy fix. The tensioner pulley for the alternator generator probably need replacing. I have to call TPS and find out if we can get it as an independent part. I'm really hoping we can, but I have to make a phone call. And of course I did notice, and you probably can notice as well, look at the tires. So I think Michael Schumacher will be very happy with this, but unfortunately this is not an F1 car and they are only worn out from outer and also from the inner. So I'm not sure if the tracking is out or the bushes are worn out, what's going on. We will put it on the ramp, we will check it, and that will be probably a quicker job compared to the A6 behind it. I must say I do like these A8s. I don't have nothing against them. However, there are a few things what I don't like about the new cars, and that is the touch screen. Every single time you have a KFC, you can actually see where your finger was. So it's leaving the fingerprints and everything is touchable, electronical, and everything is very futuristic. So if we will put in the first position, you have this lovely welcome sound. And the other thing what I notice, I'm not sure if you can actually see it, but the vent cover is basically misplaced more to the left, so the gap on the right is bigger compared to the gap to the left. And I think as an Audi A8, for that money, it shouldn't have an issue like that. But what I know about cars, another big fail was when I tried to open the bonnet. Ta-da! I can't open it as a driver. So let's say I'm driving the car on the motorway, and for any particular reason there's a fire underneath the bonnet. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna open the bonnet. Oh, hold on, I can't open the bonnet because how am I gonna open the bonnet? Well, Audi, what have you done? Or what you didn't done? Look, it's over there, it's on the passenger side, and you can't even open it because the door's in the way. So option number one, you gotta jump out of the car, run around, open the passenger door, and then you can open the bonnet. Or somehow you have to reach from this side, open the doors, and then maybe, hopefully, you'll be able to reach the bonnet latch and open it. Which I think for a car for this money is unacceptable. So how lazy you have to be not to replace the bonnet latch from the European side to the UK side. Like, come on, Audi. You used to build good cars, but what happened to you? Look, that's the sort of small details, but still taking the piss. And I did hate BMW around that year 2000 when I had an old 7 Series, about 2002, 3, 4. And the wipers was still on the European side. So basically they were wiping from this point towards to the passenger, and I still have a wet spot and I couldn't see him properly on a heavy rain. So what Audi is doing now, the wipers are in the right spot, but you have to reach for the bonnet latch on the other side, which is actually quite funny. But never mind, that's a bit of a complaint. Let's put this Audi A8 on the ramp. We will check it from underneath and we will do a list of parts, what it needs doing, and we have to contact the owner to get approval.
Okay guys, so as you can see, the oil temperature is 11 degrees Celsius, and obviously the engine was just started. The pressure of the oil is in hectopascals, which is in bars like 2.3 bars, 2.4 bars. And how the temperature is rising, the oil pressure is a bit higher as well. So obviously when it's gonna be fully warm up, we will be able to check the values and we will compare them after the remap. So it's a variable oil pressure, so it is moving with the RPM and stuff, but we will be able to compare it once the remap is done. So let's take the ECU out of the car, let's give it to Miroslav, and let's do what we need to do on the A8.
Okay, so the A8 is on the ramp. Miroslav has removed the ECU that's going for a remap, so we will raise the oil pressure. You've seen all the values with the oil pressure with different temperatures and different RPM, so we will check them afterwards when the remap is done to actually somehow prove that the map did change the oil pressure and it should be higher at different temperatures and RPM again. And we will lift the car up now to actually have a look what's missing from underneath, because the owner told us there are some plastic screws missing and so on. But I'm quite worried about the tires, what I mentioned, because they are worn out from inside and out. So we have to check the suspension arms as well. But let's lift the car up and we will see. So the A8 from underneath, what can we see, what can we tell? Lots of plastic covers everywhere. Again, UK weather is taking all the tax, unfortunately, on the car. So in few years time, from a surface rust, this will be a very sad condition, unfortunately. That's why I've done my car from underneath with a protection. And we have a bit of oil coming from this EGR pipe, from this clamp probably. So we're just gonna clean it up and see if it's fresh or what's going on with it. The owner did say there are some clips missing, so I think he was mentioning this. So we needed one plastic clip. The one is over there, that's fine. And there are a few bolts missing. This one is not tight, so I'm not sure what was going on, but this bolt is moving. And also this is a bit wet, so I'm not sure if this is from the rainwater or what happened, but I think we will drop the covers off anyways, and we have to check the engine from underneath. You can see the condition of the tires, so this is definitely not good. I was saying that probably the suspension arms will need doing and the car have to go for a tracking afterwards. But yeah, let's take the covers off and we will see. So we remove the covers, and this is just wet from water, how it was melting outside because it's freezing. The guys done the oil change themselves, and again somebody put some kind of a copper washer and it's already leaking. And yeah, do it yourself. Result, leaking oil, but you know what they say, you can't stop them. And I think he will get advisory for the gearbox because it starts to be a bit of wet around the sump. It's not leaking yet, but it's definitely getting oily. So sooner or later, I think 40,000 miles was the time to do the gearbox service anyways. But again, what we know, we are just car mechanics. So this is how the suspension arms looks like. And obviously the play on this one is not huge, but I'm not sure if you can see the rubber inside. It's cracking around the pin. So I think it's time to do them. I'll check the top ones one more time, and before we actually lift the car up, we have to put it in the service mode. So that will be the next step. And here we are, the top arms. As you can tell, this bush is broken already. So I think, yep. So yeah, 50,000 miles, unfortunately, heavy car, and the bushing is not holding it, is not taking it. And the other side, the back arm, is pretty much the same. So yeah, just a normal service on a car like this. So if you want to buy an A8, remember guys, this is just a normal maintenance, I would say. There's nothing what's wrong with it, it's just need doing. The top suspension arms are sorted now, and we will move to the lower ones. So I have to remove all the heat shields, and also there's a big bolt with a big head for 32mm right over there. And unfortunately the steering rack is in the way, so we have to lift the steering rack a bit to take the bolt out. And both of the arms on the left and right side will be removed. Press out the bushing again and fit them back on. So probably another 2-3 hours, so let's go. Okay guys, so we are from the bottom. We have to drop off the suspension arms, lower ones, and if we were proper garage we will just bust the proper hole into these heat shield covers, but we want to do it properly. So there's a 13mm bolt over there, there's a Torx 30 over there, and a 10mm nut over there. And I'm looking at it and I'm really hoping that we will not have to move out of the way this gearbox mount or the whole thingy, because we'll see. Well, I'm gonna take these covers off and we will see. I'm really hoping that the bolt will come out with any further removals. Just gotta love your job. Yeah, amazing, loving it. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, ideally I would just throw the whole car in the bin and tell everyone something what they don't want to hear, but you know, we gotta fight with it, unfortunately. So gotta take the ball out from the shock. Even though it's moving, the bolt is not coming out.
The owner also bring his own fuel filter that will be replaced, and how I'm replacing these bushes, I just press them out and then cut the tubes. They'll come nicely out. As you can see, genuine bushing is pressed in place as it should be, and it was all fitted to the subframe. So the main bolts for the shock absorber and the suspension arms were tight when the vehicle was like sitting with full weight in the position. All the heat shields are put back in place nicely with no holes in them. And obviously we can just continue with the job. So the next step will be the tensioner pulley for the alternator generator. So let's get to it.
So I put all the covers on, and we also did supply all the bolts which were missing along with the plastic clips. So everything is now as it should be. I think the car will be coming off anytime soon anyways, because he will need to get a service for the gearbox done. And I have to put it down now. We will tighten the bolts on the wheels. I have to go for tracking. Miroslav already sorted out the map for the oil pressure. So we'll plug it on the diagnostic and we'll be checking the oil pressure in a different RPM and different temperatures. We have a cold start. As you can see, the RPM is still a bit higher than it should be, and obviously straight away you can tell that the oil pressure actual value is 3.2 bars. So it is actually higher than it was before the remap. So this oil pressure remap is basically like a prevention from damaging the engine. So obviously Volkswagen, Audi and all the manufacturers, they actually try to give you the car which is good for these kind of roads today. So they are legal with the EU and the whole world and the polar bears and everything. And to lower the friction, they are lowering the oil pressure, but obviously we are talking about no point percentage of efficiency. So I think personally it's better to have a prevented oil pressure rise up than have a seized engine or damaged camshafts. So this car actually done 51,000 miles on the clock. The engine sounds good so far, and I'm really hoping it will last much longer with the higher oil pressure. So we will leave it warm up now, and we have to still check it on a different temperature, and we're also gonna drive the car and compare it from the previous values. Ah, finally have a coffee. No coffee for me.
You want?
Of course I want. I have milk if you have milk.
Okay. But isn't it great? I'm going to do a caster string, but that's pretty much where it's.
Okay guys, so it looks sort of easy, I know, but it's not easy, because if it was easy, everybody can do it. But I think we will be able to sort out this whole mess in 2.5-3 hours. I'm really hoping so. So to get to the camshafts and remove the rocker covers, unfortunately injectors gotta come out, the airbox gotta come out. I'm not sure about the ECU. I think the throttle body have to come off as well. The rails gotta come off. There's loads of pipes and wiring and connectors. So it will be loads of fun. I'll just put the camera on the time lapse, enjoy it, and once it's all stripped down, I'll get back to you. If you're looking at the gear sprockets like this, it doesn't look that bad, but let's take all the oil out and see. I took off the rocker cover from bank 1, cylinders 1 to 3, and as you see in the footage, there's definitely some tear and wear and tear signs. And the pre-tension between the sprockets, as you can see, there is some metal bits missing already. So it's not the best looking sprockets, but I'll put the cover back on so nothing fell into the engine. That was the easy side. And now we have to move to bank 2, cylinders 4 to 6. And I want to compare what's the pre-tension like between the sprockets. So I personally think the noise was coming from this side anyways, but we have to check both of them. So let's continue. So I stripped everything down to actually get to the bottom of the issue, what we think was the issue. And unfortunately I can confirm, I think that there's a combination of a rattling chain and a worn camshaft adjuster sprockets. Unfortunately, one side is worse than the other, so I think both of them need doing just to do prevention. If we will go ahead with the job, we definitely recommend to do the oil map afterwards, which will rise up the oil pressure by doing a software remap, and it should help in the future. So this is not a CRT engine code, this is a DDV, as I mentioned. This is the 210 kilowatt, the new shape 3rd generation engine, and unfortunately I'm not sure what's the part number of the camshaft, but the engine has the same problem like we've done a Q7. So here we go again. So this is what we found. This is bank 1, which is cylinders 1 to 3. And you can see that the pre-tension sprocket is basically going like over the edge over here. You can also see how the material is missing from the edges, so that's not a good sign. Another thing is, yeah, the timing chain is loose, so that is telling us that the oil tension on the bottom is not doing the job. And the other side, just to compare the sprockets, you can see that they are almost lining up. So we will be able to check the clearance once the engine is out. We'll do the job, but you can probably see the difference that this side is much more worn out than the bank 1. So unfortunately, yeah, it is what it is. And like I said, best prevention is to do the software remap, rise the oil pressure, and that's the cheapest and quickest option you will have on these engines to actually prevent from this happening. But yeah, this one here, unfortunately, too late. So we have to put everything back together. So all the rocker covers, injectors and everything gotta come back on. So more time lapse incoming.
Prepare for battle. That's all I can say.
Full enemy mode.
I ain't giving up so much.
Ah, you gotta fight for it, unfortunately. Alright, Rudy, take care, mate. So the A6 has left the building. The owner was sort of happy and not happy, as usual. Mixed feelings, I would say, but from the point of view that we've done a very deep diagnostic, he is happy, because the place where he bought it off from, they tried to diagnose it, took it to a different place, and they just didn't do anything really. So I'm not sure what happened there, what was the deal. But he bring the car to us yesterday evening. I stripped it down till midnight. Today from 11 till 3, 4, I put it back together. So the car is gone. He was given a quotation based on what I've seen inside the engine. You've seen the footage as well. So I believe there's a mixture of noise from the tension of the timing chains and the camshaft and the sprockets and everything all together. So by my opinion, the whole lot will need doing, which means a big bill is coming, and I'm not sure who will be paying for it. So he was giving footage as evidence, he was given a quotation, he was given a small report letter, from a technician, and we'll see how it goes. He told me he will let us know if there will be any update. Personally, I don't think those guys who sold the car to him will pay for it. Mixed feelings, to be honest. I think they'll be looking for a solution to get it done cheaper, but unfortunately, is that a kind of a job where you can't really cut corners and you can't get the material cheaper because you can't get it aftermarket, you have to be genuine only. So unfortunately, it is what it is, but it's not end of the world. It's not the first one, the last one. So a bit of a sad story, unfortunately, because the car done only like 84,000 miles, and you've seen the internals of the engine. Also, the camshaft has a bit of a rust spot on there, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But if the car is coming to the workshop, we will definitely do a video again, probably, because this is the new shape, third generation, different code compared to the CRT with on the Q7. So new information with the part numbers, what's going on and this and that. So if you're potentially buying a car like that, you will only have the information from us like what we found. So it's better to learn from other people's mistake than buy the car and then have a huge bill. And that's in case if you don't have a warranty, it's really painful to be paying 8, 9, 10,000 pounds for a car we just recently bought. But anyways, that car still have the standard oil pressure on the A6, which we can't say no more on the A8. So the A8 is finished. We went for the tracking, which was all sorted. The car's going nice and straight. And obviously, yeah, the bill was given, £1,400. So we've done the suspension arms, as you've seen. We've done the tensioner pulley on the alternator generator with the new belt and the remap included. So you've seen the numbers. The remap is working. You can see the actual oil pressure in the vehicle. So we are really hoping that this sort of software upgrade will prevent from any kind of an issues on these engines. It is £250, but that is as much as you can do actually without spending too much money on these cars, because unfortunately there's a variable oil pressure, and to be saving polar bears by 0.3% of efficiency and damaging your engine for £10,000, let's say, I think it's worth to get it remapped and try to prevent it like this. We can't really guarantee after certain mileage what's the condition of the camshaft, sprockets and chains or whatever, but again, time will tell. But from the experience, unless Slovakia, Czech Republic, what we're getting from people, they are getting some really high mileage from the vehicles. I know personally few people, when they bought the car brand new, they get the software update soon as they know it needs to be done, and the cars are hitting 150, 200,000 miles on the clock, and the guys are telling me like we're just doing oil changes and basic service. So I'm really hoping it will prevent from happening. So that's all from the video, guys. Another sort of boring video, didn't done too much really. And as you can tell, we've got plenty of work. The machine shop is holding us back a bit with all the machining what needs to be done. And we are waiting for a few engines to be put back together. We have a huge project going on with an S4 where we're going to build a forge engine. We have a few RS5 and RS4 engines in the back room. So I'll try to film as much as possible. We'll see how it goes. And meanwhile, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. So take care for now. Bye.